Thorstein is alone in a strange place, unaware of the events that led him there. He must find a way to remember if he is to find his way home, for his past might be the only key to his future.
How are you so quick to forget? I don't trust him.
What happened? I was just... I can't remember.
Ooh, pretty.
You! Come over here! Don't be shy!
Where am I?
Jotunheim, land of the giants! Loki thought it would be fun to play a trick on you humans.
I need a word with him.
Feisty! Don't waste your time. Loki's always up to no good. He probably did it so I wouldn't notice him stealing my stuff. And the scoundrel was right.
This must be a dream.
Of all the Scandinavian deities, Loki was the most chaotic and unpredictable. With his cunning, intelligence, tremendous magical powers, and shape-shifting abilities, he could do whatever he wanted. Loki was a trickster. It was hard to know whose side he was on. He would gladly help the gods and goddesses in their quests, but his undeniable appetite for trickery would always win out, pushing him to betray them. One of his greatest betrayals was to cause the death of Balder, a crime that did not go unpunished. This drawing shows the fate Loki suffered as punishment for his deadly trickery. The gods compelled him to stay under a serpent with poison dripping from its fangs. Each drop would burn his flesh, bringing Loki terrible pain. Fortunately for him, his wife Sigyn vowed to stay beside him, placing a bowl between the serpent's maw and her lover's face to collect the poison and stop it from reaching him, until she had to empty the bowl, leaving him temporarily unprotected. When the venom dripped upon him, Loki would writhe in pain, causing the earth to shake.
Ah.
There are 4, I only see 3 though.
I wish it was. Then I wouldn't be stuck cleaning up Loki's messes anymore. Come.
Hold on. Loki, Jotunheim. Are you supposed to be Thor, the giant slayer?
What do you mean supposed to be? I am Thor.
I'll have to take your word for it. My mind feels like someone's poked holes in it.
Do not worry about that. We will have to restore your memory to find out where you belong anyway. But first, you must help me.
What could I possibly do that the god of the people cannot?
I need you to find my gauntlets and belt. Without them, I cannot use my hammer. And without my hammer, I would not last long in a village full of giants. So I need you to handle it. Once you get my things, I will take you to the Well of Mimir. Easy.
For you?
You will not be harmed. God's honor. But I will be waiting for you here. Just in case.
Thor was the warrior god of thunder. He fought with Mjolnir, a powerful and magical hammer. Thor was also a god of fertility. As his chariot crossed the sky, pulled by 2 goats, he brought storms and rain that fed the fields. Son of the god Odin and the giantess Jord, Thor presided over strength, both physical and mental. He was a paragon of honor, courage, and luck. While recent pop culture has sometimes depicted Thor as more brawn than brains, This does not align with his characterization in Norse myths. The truth is that Thor, like his father Odin, was allegedly well versed in poetry, especially the hiti, an Old Norse poetic device similar to the kenning. Thor was also the protector of the people. His hammer, which is depicted here, was worn as a talisman around the neck to promote good fortune, prosperity, and to protect its wearer. His role as a defender and his exemplary social values helped to make him the most popular deity of the North. This can be seen in the large number of toponyms and surnames containing the prefix Thor or Thur, as well as in the name of our Norse hero of the Discovery Tour, Thorstein. Okay, I only see 3. Where's the 4th? Find Thor's belt and gloves. Oh, first person camera, jeez. Now we're suddenly playing Skyrim. Aegir's Hall. Yggdrasil, the World Tree. In Norse mythology, Yggdrasil, the World Tree, was the backbone of the entire universe. The tree was older than creation itself. It is believed that the 9 worlds of Norse mythology were held within Yggdrasil's roots and branches. Some imagine Yggdrasil as an oak tree, others as an ash. This artist has embraced the world of Norse skalds, or poets, who described it as breathtakingly beautiful. Along with the 9 worlds, Yggdrasil was home to many creatures of Norse mythology. Among them was Ratatoskr, the wisecracking squirrel who would carry gossip from one branch of Yggdrasil to another, or from one world to the next.
Giants.
Giants, children of Ymir. In Norse mythology, the very first being was called Ymir. Ymir was created when fire met and melted ice. The race of giants, the Jotnar, are said to have been born from the sweat of Ymir's armpit. Ew. Even though giants and gods were often enemies in Norse mythology, some gods were part giant themselves. According to legend, the god Odin was a descendant of Ymir. This did not stop him from defeating and slaying his ancestor. To escape Odin, the other giants sailed away on Ymir's blood until they reached a new world, Jotunheim. Norse lore described Jotunheim as a harsh place, filled with cold, stark landscapes. This artist has sought to capture this eerie, enormous, and unsettling world. The giants lived in both Jotunheim and Muspelheim, the world of fire and ashes. The leader of the Muspels, Surtur, was a cruel giant capable of terrible destruction. The legends say that he is destined to bring fire and death to Asgard, land of the gods, at Ragnarok, the end of days.
Have I checked the attic?
What's
So
an ankle biter doing here?
I'm guessing these guys are basically based on the... I'm guessing these guys were the inspiration for the Titans in Attack on Titan then? Descendants of Ymir.
That must be Thor's belt.
Hey, Happy Hogan, how do you pronounce it again? So where is this last thing?
Ek með afleiðingar. Drekk ek mér undan að tvinna eða bregð við bæjarfólk.
This barrel seems refreshing. And a great place to hide something.
Sacred mead of poetry. Mead was a sacred drink for the Norse people. It was made from fermented honey, water, and spices. According to legend, the very first mead had another ingredient, blood. It also had magical powers and could give the gift of poetry. Long ago, there lived a god named Kvasir. Kvasir was one of the most intelligent and knowledgeable creatures in the universe. He traveled a lot, sharing his wisdom, until one day two dwarves decided to keep his knowledge for themselves. They killed Kvasir to steal his wisdom. Then they mixed his blood with honey to create the very first mead. It was a magical potion that could give anyone who drank it the power of scholarship, of poetry. Norse people with poetic gifts were said to have tasted this magical mead, seen here contained in a drinking horn. Again, where is this last thingy? Gonna be over here, isn't it? Really?
Are those gloves? It's back to Thor now. Hey Thor, I found your stuff. What's your problem with those giants? They seem pretty peaceful to me.
They belittled me. All right, let's go.
I'm riding an elk.
Are we going to Midgard?
Oh, to Mimir's well. Must be certain Midgard is where you're meant to be. Mimir will know.
His name sounds familiar.
As far back as I can remember, my father Odin has craved knowledge and wisdom of any kind. But he came to be obsessed with his future, and more especially his own downfall. So he too drank the well's magical water. But to access it, he had to sacrifice his eye to Mimir, the well's guardian.
At least he didn't have to chop Mimir's head off.
I see. Pay a toll to acquire what you seek.
Exactly. You must be prepared. You won't get out of there the same as you've entered. Do you know what you will sacrifice?
It will take some thought.
The god Odin hungered for secret and mysterious knowledge. To sate his appetite for wisdom, he would do or give anything. According to legend, Odin wanted to discover what the future held for him. His desire to know what lay in store conflicted with the universal order and the will of the Norns, the keepers of fate. To find the answer, Odin went to Mimir's well, a magical place nestled within the roots of Yggdrasil, the cosmic tree. Supposedly, whoever drank from Mimir's waters would be blessed with secret and precious knowledge, such as the ins and outs of fate itself. However, this wisdom was costly, and those who sought it would be required to pay a heavy price. To buy the knowledge he sought, Odin sacrificed one of his eyes. He received a nasty scar in return, as seen in this piece of concept art.
Here we are. Off you go.
You're not coming with me.
Do you really need more hand-holding? Go. I will wait for you. Oh, and be respectful. Mimir doesn't have the same tolerance for mortals that I do.
Okay then.
What happened?
I sacrificed the only thing I had, my hammer, my human vessel.
Mimir didn't grant you the knowledge you sought?
I wanted to best my enemies, to see the looks on their faces as all their plans came to naught. Now I'm trapped here. I can never return to Midgard. What's the point of outwitting your foes if they'll never even know it?
Ah, I see.
Be careful. Learn from my mistake. Don't sacrifice anything you will regret. Why? Why?
Hi. You must be Mimir. The Well of Mimir. At the very bottom of the World Tree was the Well of Mimir, or Mimisbrunner. According to Norse myth, the water of the well was magical. Those who drank it would be given great knowledge, at a terrible price. Eons ago, a great war shook the World Tree to its roots. Divine armies of different realms clashed on the battlefield. Eventually, a truce was called and the hostages were exchanged to keep the peace. One of these hostages was Mimir, a god of knowledge and intelligence, and a good friend to Odin, the Allfather. Mimir's time as a hostage ended badly when he lost his head, literally. His captor sent the head back to his friend Odin, who preserved it with magic. Odin's skill and power allowed Mimir to remain alive as a head without a body. Mimir was placed beside the well at the bottom of the Yggdrasil, seen here in artistic sketches. There he could oversee the magical waters and make sure that no one drank them without paying the price. That's everything. Yep, that looks like everything.
Enter, Thorstein of Midgard. I know what you seek. Reveal your sacrifice, and your desire may be granted.
As I know nothing of my past, and own nothing of value, I can only sacrifice my future. Reaching the great hall of Odin upon my death would be the greatest honor. Wise Mimir, I sacrifice to you my chance to ever enter Valhalla.
Thorstein of Midgard, you have chosen to sacrifice any hope to fight alongside Odin at Ragnarok. Let it be so. You may drink from my waters now, and remember your past. The betrayal of someone close has brought you here.
I died. Bjorn. Bjorn did this to me. Why?
You have the answers you sought.
No, I need to know. What happened to Gunhilda?
You cannot drink again. You have nothing left to sacrifice.
Wait! Mimir, come back! Gunhilda. Now that I finally remember your face, is seeing you again the future I gave up?
Ancient Scandinavians believed that magical beings coexisted peacefully within every human. Each of these spirits had a role that contributed to making a person unique and whole. According to the Norse, the hugr and the hamr made up two parts of the self. The hugr was an individual's personality and conscious mental processes. It combined their personhood, thoughts, wishes, and desires. The hugr was a person's deep inner self, the essential nature of their being. The hamr, in contrast, was an individual's external self. The hamr was a person's appearance and shape, their physical form as perceived by others from the senses. To act with authenticity, one tried to express one's hugr, or inner self, in one's hamr, their outer self. So kind of like Ka and Ba, I guess, for Egyptians. Another entity attached to a human being was the Fylgja, their individual guardian spirit, or angel. Legend said that this totem spirit could take on the appearance of an animal. Put together, these parts of the self formed a link between each mortal and the magical web of the cosmos. In a way, this link could have been represented by Odin's messengers, the ravens Hugin, thought, and Munin, memory, for they too were spiritual agents of liaison between the world of humans and the world of the gods. Engraved in this stone is Odin, flanked by his feathered companions. Medieval Scandinavians believed that the deceased were assigned to a specific resting place located somewhere throughout the branches and roots of Yggdrasil, the cosmic tree, where they lived in death depending on how they lived in life. Some among the dead were chosen to enter the golden paradise of Asgard. Their ascension was, in part, because they had lived an honorable life. In Asgard, there were two places they could find rest. The first was Valhalla, the Hall of the Slain, ruled by Odin, where only deceased men could enter. This vibrant illustration shows what this mysterious and glorious place could have looked like. The second was Folkvanger, the People Fields. In this place, the most mysterious of all, it seems that the goddess of love, Freya, welcomed both honorable men and women, perhaps reuniting those separated by death. Lone warrior facing the roaring battlefield near the entrance of Valhalla.
Dead all along?
There was a high chance, yes. I do not know of death as you humans do. To us gods, death is only part of an endless cycle of rebirth. Until Ragnarok, that is.
Well, I don't have that privilege. What am I to do now?
I could take you to the Norns. Only they will know where you ought to go.
I'm tired of being thrown around like a wet cloth. Is this the god's humor?
Only Loki's. I hate that he's using my people against me. You were caught in the middle, and I am sorry.
Your excuses won't bring me back to life.
There! My faithful goats Tangrisnir and Tangnjoster will take us to Asgard, to the Norns.
This is your chariot?
You cannot see its true form. Do not be fooled by my goats' sides. They are mightier than 100 giants. Shall we go?
Yes. I can't stand the sight of this place anymore.
Odin gave us Wednesday. Thor gave us Thursday, and I think Freya gave us Friday? Freya or Frigg, one of those. The origin of Thorstein's surname Silvertongue is a mystery. Some pretend it is referencing to his skill with words, others to the fact that he loves to speak about his trade's profits. Now if one asks Gunhilda, she will only say that without supervision, children can eat anything. Did he really eat silver? To the realm of the gods. They ride toward the Well of Udur, where the Norns weave the threads of destiny. Fate was considered the most powerful force in the cosmos. This magical, self-conscious flow of energy linked everything and everyone together. Unstoppable and uncompromising, fate dragged everyone through time and space. The dictum, or destiny, prescribed by fate was unyielding. Men, gods, and monsters, whether as individuals or members of a clan, had to bend to the will of fate. No one could alter it, and everyone had to accept it. Scandinavian legends say that a time will come when the harmony of the universe collapses into a fight for cataclysmic proportions. This is the ultimate fate of the Nine Worlds, an apocalyptic fatalistic outcome called Ragnarok. This drawing shows a scene from the epic final fight. Here is Vidar, the son of Odin, avenging his father's death by killing the monstrous wolf Fenrir. Ah!
I see them.
The destiny of every being was intertwined, their fates knit together into a great fabric of existence. According to some legends, this tapestry of life was woven by the Norns, the keepers of fate. Little is known about the Norns, for they were shrouded in mystery. 3 of them were called Urd, the past, Verdandi, the present, and Skuld, the future. Legend said that they lived in the Well of Udur, or the Well of Fate. This mysterious place could be found under one of the roots of the World Tree. This stunning concept art for Valhalla shows the Norns represented as statues surrounding the entrance of the well. They look kind of like the Witch King.
They seem to notice me. Would they really care for a mere mortal?
A human in the Well of Udur. This I had to see for myself.
I've come to seek the Norns' counsel and find an end to this meandering.
Of course. Another victim of Loki's mischief. I understand your frustration. We cannot approach the Norns, nor the threats they weave.
These cats seem to have approached them just fine.
Mighty creatures, are they not? Loki brought them here. They entangled the threats and made a mess. But no matter. Your threat followed its course. Nothing can ever change your destiny. Trust me, I've tried.
What about my wife, Gunhilda? Do you know where she is?
I wouldn't care to know. You are in Asgard, talking to the All-Father, and all you can think of is your wife. You mortals have such one-track minds. Take your questions to Freya, along with these cats of hers. She'll know how to indulge you.
All right then. How do I get out of here?
It will take longer for me to explain than to just send you away. Good luck.
Were there things I could have found in there? Odin was the leader and chief of the gods. He presided over many domains such as magic, poetry, runes, death, and victory. Highly intelligent and terribly cunning, he was not to be disobeyed. When Odin sat on Hildstjarf, his magical throne, he could observe the actions of every being in existence. His gaze could pierce through flesh and bone to perceive humanity's most intimate desires. After all, he was a god with an overwhelming appetite for secrets. This position of all-knowing watcher earned him the nickname Allfather. Legend said that Odin would frequently travel through the 9 realms of Yggdrasil, the cosmic tree, riding his 8-legged horse Sleipnir, and following by his raven companions Hugin and Munin. This quartet is represented here in this drawing. second pet. Oh, fluffy kitty.
If these are Freya's cats, they must be leading to her.
The Nine Realms. According to Norse myth, Yggdrasil, the world tree, was at the center of the universe. Everything existed around it, and all the 9 realms were grouped within its roots and branches. Yggdrasil was nearly symmetrical. Its branches were as long as its roots, and they also almost touched in a circle. This circular quality symbolized order and eternity. The highest of the 9 realms was Asgard, placed in Yggdrasil's upper branches. Asgard was home to the Aesir gods, including Odin and Thor. The lowest realm, nestled among Yggdrasil's roots, was Helheim, the land of the dead, governed by the goddess Hel. Right in the middle of Yggdrasil was Midgard, or Middle-earth, where the mortal humans lived. The other realms were Alfheim, home of the Light Elves, Svartalheim, land of the Dark Elves and Dwarves, Vanaheim, kingdom of the Vanir, a tribe of gods, Niflheim, the icy and frostbitten netherworld, Muspelheim, seen here, where brimstone, fire, and smoke reign supreme, and Jotunheim, home of the giants. Come, kitty cats. Take me to Freya.
Am I following them, or are they following me?
Don't care, I want to pet the kitty. Across the Rainbow Bridge. The only way to reach Asgard, the realm of the gods, was by crossing the Rainbow Bridge, the Bifrost. The shimmering, flaming bridge was almost indestructible. It would only be broken at Ragnarok, the end of days. The Rainbow Bridge, seen here in concept art for Valhalla, was protected by the god Heimdall. Heimdall shone as bright as a flame from head to toe. His teeth were solid gold and gleaming like the sun. His eyesight was sharper than an eagle's, and he could hear everything, everywhere. This made him perfect for his task, standing watch over the entrance to Asgard. All day and all night, Heimdall would scan the horizon for threats, a vigilant protector of the realm. According to legend, Heimdall's standing watch will one day see enemy armies crossing the Bifrost. As the troops storm the Rainbow Bridge, Heimdall will blow his great horn, Gjallarhorn, to warn the gods that the end of Asgard is nigh, for Ragnarok has come at last. Freya, goddess of fertility and magic, she rules over Folkvanger.
Orsakir og ekki annan hækkum.
the Vulva, a soothsayer. The Vulvers were known for their skill in divination. With the knowledge passed down across generations of women, these seeresses could journey through time and space, divining the future through magic and rituals. One way to divine was to read the runes. Each one held a different power. Another way to gain magical insight was through a ritual trance, the Satyr. The first person to practice the Satyr was the goddess Freya. This trance may have involved a wand or staff, symbolically ending like a spindle, as they were used to spin the threads of fate. Once spun, the threads could be read and understood. A Vulva was likely to live a little bit on the fringes of society, for her powers were mysterious and intimidating. She could help people, but she could also harm them. The Satyr ritual could be used to curse someone. In spinning the threads of fate, a Vulva could potentially damage a person's destiny. Excuse me. Coming, kitty. Is that Fenrir? Welcome to Asgard. Taking the bridge between the infinitely small and the infinitely big.
Being the land of mighty gods, Asgard had to be scaled accordingly. To create this sense of magnitude, level designers played on heights with towers that reach up into the sky to meet the immense branches of Yggdrasil, the mythical world tree. The wolf, Fenrir, went through the same fate. Indeed, the infamous beast is 10 times the size of a normal wolf, thanks to the character modelers. To set AC Valhalla's Asgard apart, developers focused on depicting the myths of the Viking sagas, with doors to other realms, Well of Norns, and so on, combined with glimpses of Eivor's past life and memories. A great shame it'll all be destroyed come Ragnarok.
You're a big skinny wolf.
Á skipi, en
I'm supposed to go down there, huh?
muni þetta vera reisan í en
Hold on.
Ekki sagt honum að bíða síðast. Ég fangað þrælla hjá þar, en þau eigi stór.
I'm gonna get these last 2 sites first. The goddess Freya. The goddess Freya was renowned for her stunning beauty. She cared for women in childbirth and was linked to fertility. Freya was also very skilled at magic. Freyr was the most gifted among the Norse gods at Satyr, the art of divination, or prophecy. Satyr allowed one to travel beyond space and time to catch a glimpse of what fate had in store. Odin learned how to see the future from Freya. Freya also had an unusual way of getting around. Legend has it that she loved to surround herself with cats. In fact, her chariot was pulled not by horses, but by two massive blue and gray cats, gifts from the Norse god of thunder, Thor. This pendant, representing the goddess, could have been used at ceremonies or offerings to honor her.
Zwar allt är I lag. För gaten vet I flott allan vedliga.
Speaking of which, Thor, the god of thunder, god of the people, giant slayer. Which is the most accurate? Hello, kitty. Okay, let's go speak to Freya first.
Freya must know that cats are better creatures than people.
Hefur du smidat med bågavini? Hej du.
Never imagined I'd spend my afterlife leading a herd of cats.
And they're so fluffy.
I'm surprised they're even awake. I'm covered in cat hair now.
Is that a bad thing?
My cats. Come here, my darlings. I've looked all...
1 second, Freya. I wanted this last thing.
Yo! Smó! Harðari!
What was that about? Okay, Sean. Let's do our last behind the scenes. So I think this is our last one. The myth of horned helmets. We were lied for 200 years.
I'm going to level with you now and prepare yourself. Vikings did not wear horned helmets. This dreadful misconception came from the Wagnerian opera The Ring of the Nibelung from 1876, but you knew that. Horned and winged helmets were at that stage part of the actors' costumes, a way for the warriors to seem more grandiose on stage. Ever since then, depictions of Vikings wearing big, horned helmets were in plentiful supply, and this wrongful image has persisted to this day. Beside the fact that horned helmets would have been anything but practical on the battlefield, it seems that the very few ones found by archaeologists were only used for ritual purposes. So you can use that fact next time you want to ruin a Viking's Halloween party.
Hey, we got Sean. gives tactical guidance to numerous assassin cells across the globe. Just have Loki now. Okay, let's go see Freya.
Din samliga mattegrej.
Come here, my darlings. I've looked all over for you.
Goddess Freya, I've brought back...
Thank you. I'm surprised they followed you here. Who are you?
Thorstein of Midgard. The All-Father sent me to see you. I've died, and I have nowhere to go.
I see. Odin knows I cannot resist a stray in need. Listen, darling. Everyone has somewhere they ought to be. Even you. Follow me.
Each medieval Scandinavian possessed their own fixed and inevitable destiny. Since individual identity was deeply grounded in community and lineage, a person's destiny was tightly interwoven with that of their kin. An individual inherited certain rules and values from their kin. According to legend, ancestors could visit the young in dreams to pass on the family's wisdom. These values could also be shared with descendants by the family's Haminga, or guardian spirit. In these dreamland family reunions, children would learn about their forefathers' greatness and their failures. They would learn about authenticity, how a member of their family could and should behave to stay true to their values and to themselves. Through these experiences, the young would eventually learn about their own strengths and weaknesses and be able to pinpoint their true nature. By acting according to that nature, they would therefore be able to properly fulfill their destiny. Belonging to a lineage also involved a duty to remember the destinies of ancestors past. Scandinavians would raise runestones to honor the memories of their loved ones, as seen in this picture. One of the Funbo runestones with the engraving, Thane and Gunnar raised this stone after Vader, their brother.
But I've given up all hope of entering Valhalla.
Then you were never destined to reach Valhalla.
How so? I lived a good and honorable life. Don't I deserve an honorable death?
Maybe, just not in Odin's great hall. You shall accompany me to Folkvanger, my home.
Will my wife be there? Have you seen Gunhilda?
I do not know, but if it's her fate, she will join you there.
I'd go through 1,000 deaths if it meant seeing her again.
Your love is true and strong. Your fates must be intertwined. All hope isn't lost, but I do not make promises of outcomes I cannot control.
If Loki hadn't interfered with my thread...
You would have ended up just where you are now, with or without Loki's hand.
How can you tolerate his misdeeds? It's the one thing I never understood.
We are not to question it. It's just who he is. Loki, just as any of us, is a part of the greater scheme. But I know how you must feel. I've wanted to rip that smug smile of his from his face more than once. Almost went through with it one day.
He must have done something awful.
The worst thing he could possibly do. He stole my dear Brissinger men.
One of your cats?
No, my necklace.
Oh.
My most precious possession. I'd give anything for it. And I did. Because of Loki, 100 men gave their lives to Odin that day. But it was written. Cannot dwell.
So I never had a choice.
You understand.
Scandinavian mythology is full of brave warriors whose glorious deeds earned them entry into Asgard, home of the gods, after death. But not all mortals were given this honor. Another fate awaited them. While warriors who died in battle could look forward to feasting in the halls of Valhalla, those who died of sickness or old age went to Hel, or Helheim. The cold and misty realm of Niflheim, pictured here, was another final destination. Murderers, oathbreakers, and traitors were punished for their crimes by being sent to this cruel land.
These doors will take you to Foldvanger, my kingdom. Afterlife of the slain and righteous. Just as luxurious as Odin's great hall.
Thank you.
At long last, Thorstein and Gunhilda are reunited in the fields of Folkvanger. The Vikings' journey has come to an end. Thank you for playing Discovery Tour of Viking Age. Feeling adventurous? Explore the world to discover more, earn rewards, or replay their quests. Bedale Gilling Sword. With its hilt decorated exclusively with gold, the Bedale sword seems straight out of a saga. Bedazzle your enemies with this one-of-a-kind merging of two legendary swords. Loki is the god of mischief, and mischievous he is indeed. So, that's the end of the Discovery Tour. Oh, it was enjoyable. I liked it. I honestly kind of wish it was a bit longer. Like, you delved more into, like, actual, like, daily living and stuff more. Kind of like how, Origins and Odyssey had tours specifically for, like, you know, home life or pottery or, you know, other, like, major aspects of life in that time period. Although they did kind of go through this with some of the Discovery sites, but I just wish there was, like, actual tours or something that focused on it. However, I did like how each story kind of focused on one of them. Like, the first one was, like, life in Norway. The other was Christianity in England. Another was trade and the merging of the two societies, or Alfred and his life, and stuff like that, which it was nice. It's just, to me, this just feels a little shorter than the other ones. But that could be because they they kind of condensed it into like 8 specific story tales, and not just like 15 different tours, and then you hear all these other sites that you can go to. So I liked it. It's a nice concept. If they do another Discovery Tour in later games, it would be nice if they did something kind of like this again, where it's like you have like an actual like kind of story line that kind of goes through a lot of the main aspects of the tours and stuff, but at the same time it gives you little like maybe side tours that you can go to, like, oh, you want to learn more about Scandinavian life? Here are some other tours that you can go on that go more in depth with certain aspects of it. So yeah, I like this. This was nice. It was a nice change of pace. I hope they do something similar to this again. But for now, let's actually go into the main campaign of the game and start the Saga of Eivor.